Hi everyone, welcome back to the Medapply YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be answering questions that you've sent in for us to answer as medical students. So the theme for today's video is imposter syndrome. We have Shrey joined with us again today. So Shrey, are you ready to answer some questions that our viewers have sent in?
Yeah, 100%.
Nice. Okay. So the first question we have is, have you ever regretted your decision to study medicine?
Yeah, so there'll be fleeting moments of kind of questioning your decisions and asking yourself, like, should I be doing this? But there's no kind of major moments of I shouldn't be here. Why am I even here? I should be doing this other thing, because at the end of the day, well, hopefully medicine is something that you enjoy, and so you won't massively regret your decision to study medicine, because you do enjoy the content, and as long as you're enjoying yourself and you have a good time at uni, I don't think there's major moments of questioning yourself.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. I think there hasn't really been a major moment, but sometimes you'd be like, oh, do I really have to do this?
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. But yeah. So the next question is, did you ever feel like you were not good enough for medicine at any point?
I think it's really daunting when you're applying, because you have all of these hurdles to go through, and so many people are applying for medicine, and then there's only a few places, and you have to really perform well. And so under that pressure, it can seem like, oh no, I'm not as good as so and so I'm not good enough for medicine. But I don't think that's how it needs to be or how it should be, because at the end of the day, if you work hard enough, it's your interest in the subject which keeps you going, and not how outright clever you are or how outright good at the UCAT or the BMAT you are. And so I think there's quite a big shift from when you're applying to med school to when you come to med school, of it being very competitive to get in initially, but then when you get to med school, it really chills out. It's not like people are competing against each other, it's people are helping each other and trying to grow together. And I think that's quite a nice shift. I mean, that's not to say, I know that imposter syndrome is a massive thing, especially at the start of med school. And it can actually grow, because generally first year is a huge step up from A levels. And I found that myself. Just really struggling with content and struggling to learn things. And then you do question yourself and you think, am I good enough to be here? But if you do keep plugging away at it, you'll realize that you definitely are, and everyone else is in the same boat.
Yeah.
And so
No, yeah, I remember the very first sort of tutorial we had, it was on clinical reasoning. And I sat there and we were in a group and everyone was like, everyone knew all these terms, tachycardia, pyrexia, and I was like, I just know what fever is. And after that, I felt so bad. I was like, I know absolutely nothing. But it definitely comes with time. Like throughout the semester, I was like, okay, I'm getting the hang of this. I'm getting the hang of this. And I think
yeah, for
that's
sure.
what med school pretty much is, especially for the first few months.
Yeah, yeah. It's just working through that initial bit. And I think a lot of it comes with knowing how to study. For me, I struggled a lot in the first year with working in different ways, making flashcards, making notes, different types of notes, answering questions, all this different stuff. And I just couldn't settle on one way because nothing was working.
Yeah.
And so that, I think, really impeded me in first year. But I think first year is there purely so that you can learn how to learn, because it is a massively different kind of style to school, or college, because it's
Mhm.
it's so non-moderated, like what you're learning. You can learn doing whatever you want. You're just given the content. There's no
Yeah.
kind of homework or anything like that.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm a year behind and I'm still working through that. So I guess it's a really long
Yeah,
process.
yeah, for sure.
But
I didn't learn
fingers
how to
crossed.
learn.
The next question someone sent in is, how is the environment in med school?
I think generally it's very kind of helpful, at least at UCL, especially with sports clubs. And well, we have RUMS, which is the Medical Students Society. So the sports clubs, the RUMS clubs, are extremely supportive. You'll be given tutorials by older members, resources, everything. There's a big question bank, notes from previous years, things like that. So in that sense, the environment is quite nice. There is always that group of kind of gunners who want to be top of the year or whatever, and that's completely okay. If you're one of them as well, that's completely okay. But everyone has a different priority, and so it's just important to remember that you're kind of doing your own thing as long as you're staying on top of content, as long as you're learning everything. Um, if you want to go and enjoy your social life at uni, but also be on top of content, that's completely fine, and be kind of middle of the year. That's your choice. And so there shouldn't be any kind of pressure or competitiveness there for you to kind of outperform others.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think that that fits in really nicely with the next question. Is med school as competitive as people make it out to be?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, when it comes to exam time, everyone is like, "Oh, what did you get?" and "How well did you do?" and all that stuff. But it's never like competitive. Oh, I did better than you, or I'm better than you, or I'm smarter. It's very
Yeah,
much we're all in the same boat. We're all just trying to pass our exams. And so I think,
exactly.
yeah, compared to what it is in secondary school and things like that, it's a lot less competitive. At least that's been my experience so far with it, but that's only after 2 years preclinical year, so that could change.
Okay, the next question is, how do you make yourself feel worthy in med school?
How do you make yourself
Oh,
feel worthy? Interesting one. I think knowing that everyone's again, like we've said this so many times, but knowing that everyone's in the same boat, having those friends there who are panicking just as much as you are
yeah.
about an assignment or about something that you haven't yet done, that makes you feel, as bad as it might sound, that makes you feel, I guess, worthy because you know that you're not the only one in that situation. Everyone's in that situation. So it's not like a matter of self-worth, it's just knowing that you're not the only one there. Uh,
Absolutely. I think I'm definitely not the kind of person who's like up to date with everything all the time. So it's what you realize is you're not the only one, and I think that that's a really nice thing to see.
yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah. The next question is, oh, this is a really tough one. Do you think you'll ever be prepared to become a doctor?
Honestly, after 2 years, it doesn't particularly seem that way, but we'll find out, I guess, at the end of the full 6 years. I know that it is a massive learning curve in clinical years, so I'm hoping that will kind of teach me everything I need to know. I think generally UCL produce some pretty good doctors, I think. So hopefully I can be one of them one day if I pass all my exams. But I think in med school it's just important not to be thinking about like too far into the future. Just focus on the moment and enjoy it because it is a lot of fun. I don't think there's any point worrying what kind of doctor you're going to be when you're in first or second year or even third year, because preclinical years at least are completely, well, not completely, but pretty irrelevant when it comes to like the grand scheme of things. Um, and so yeah, just enjoy yourself, learn that basic science, and then go from there.
So yeah, I definitely agree. That's great advice. The last question that we have for this is, are you worried for the future?
I don't think so. In terms of future years, I know that it gets very intense in fourth, fifth, and sixth year, and so that obviously is always a worry. But then when I was in first year, people said, "Oh, second year super intense," and that I've just completed in that obviously was difficult, but it's manageable. And so I think there's always the kind of anticipation of a new year or something difficult, but you do just kind of get through it with your friends, with whoever. And so, yeah, in terms of worried about the future, I guess as a doctor, again, try not to think that far ahead.
No, yeah, definitely. And just to sort of top it off, if you are worried about anything, med schools usually have a really good support system. So you have personal advisors and personal tutors, and there's usually a support team, student services. If you are worried about anything, I mean, we all may have been in a situation like that, but do not feel afraid to reach out if you're worried about anything at all. There is definitely something that can be done about it. But yeah, I really like Shrey's advice. I think the best thing to do is just take it as it comes and focus on enjoying the moment. Yeah, awesome. So that's all the questions that we have for this video. Thank you for joining us.